Night lay quiet over the Texas road. Wind moved dry grass. A neon gas sign buzzed, half dead, half blue. Then a shadow crossed the stars. It was too wide for a bird, too slow for a plane, and too tired for a storm. The shadow fell, scraped metal on rock, and hit the ground behind the old gas station with a long, heavy sound. Mara was driving home from the diner. Her hands smelled like onions and soap. Her eyes were sore, but her mind was clear. She saw the light flicker in the sky. She saw dust rise behind the pumps. She did not press the brake. She rolled the truck to a stop and turned off the engine. The road went quiet again. A shape moved in the dark. It was big. It breathed. It scraped a wing against a rusted sign. The sign squealed and fell. Mara stepped down from her truck. She left the door open in case she had to run. She did not think she would run. She took the old thermos from the passenger seat. It still held warm water. She walked forward, slow and steady, like she would walk toward a scared colt. The shape crawled out of the broken light. It was a dragon. He was scarred and plated like old armor. His wings showed patches where someone had welded bone. Smoke rose from a wound near his shoulder. His eyes were gold, but the gold looked tired. He watched her come closer. He did not raise his head. He did not show his teeth. He only breathed like a bellows with a hole. Mara set the thermos on the ground. "Water," she said. Her voice was calm. "It is not much. It is what I have." The dragon lowered his head. He sniffed the thermos. He touched it with the edge of his tongue. Steam curled. He drank a little, then more. When he finished, he closed his eyes for one slow blink, as if that small drink was a small kindness he had not expected tonight. A small voice came from the bed of Mara's truck. "He is hurt," the voice said. "His plates are open. His wing sings wrong." Mara looked back. The tarp in the truck bed lifted. A thin girl with silver eyes peered out. Her scarf was too big for her shoulders. She had been hiding there since the late shift, warm and quiet. "Sira," Mara said, not angry, only surprised. "You should be home." "I do not have one," the girl said. She climbed down and stood beside Mara. "Not yet." The dragon raised his head a little. He looked at the girl. He looked at Mara. He tilted his head like a tired judge who still cares for truth. "What is your name?" Mara asked him. The dragon's voice rolled low like a drum in another room. "Vardes," he said. "I am Mara," she said. She pointed to the girl. "This is Sira." Sira put her hand on the air, not touching, just near. "Your wing sings wrong," she said again, soft and sure. "Hunters made the wrong song inside it." "I can hear it." Vardes blinked. "You hear machines?" he said. It was not a question. Sira nodded. "And other things," she said. "I hear hunters too." She tipped her head, listening far. "They are on the highway. They laugh in the radio. They say bounty and Texas and dragon." Mara looked at the road. It was empty, but she knew that meant little. "How far?" she asked. "Not far," Sira said. 3 trucks. 1 van with a jammer. 1 drone already above us, but blind for now." Mara did not look up. She kept her eyes on Vardes. "I have an old barn," she said. "It is dry, it is low. It is not safe. But it is away from this light." Vardes tried to stand. His front legs took the weight. His back legs shook. He stayed down. Mara put the thermos back in his reach. "You can stand under my roof," she said. "If you are lost, you can stand under my roof." Sira watched Mara's face while she spoke. A small, warm thing moved in the girl's eyes, like a candle that has just found a match. A pickup turned at the far end of the road. Its headlights went dark in a way that felt wrong. Another car rolled slow, then stopped, then rolled again. The night began to carry small sounds. A tiny whir up high, a click, a distant cough of a cheap engine. Sira flinched. "1 drone," she said. "Camera open." "Then we move," Mara said. "Can you walk, Vardes?" "I will," he said. They walked the dragon slow across the gravel lot. Mara kept a steady pace so he could match it. Sira walked behind with her scarf lifted like a shield, as if a small cloth could hide a large truth. Sometimes small things help. They reached the barn behind the station. It was old but honest. The hay smell had left years ago. Dust and oil and time lived there now. Mara opened both doors. Vardis lowered his head and slid inside. He took up most of the space without trying. "Thank you," he said. Mara nodded. "A roof is a roof," she said. "It is not much. It is what I have." Sierra put both hands on the barn wall. She closed her eyes. "I can make the wood hum," she said. "A little hum hides a big breath." "Do it," Mara said. Sierra hummed, simple and low. The boards vibrated. The air changed shape. Vardis's breath still sounded like a bellows, but the sound now folded into the hum and did not carry as far. Mara took a small tool bag from her truck. She set it on a crate. "I can stitch plates," she said to Vardis. "Not pretty." "Strong enough." Vardis bowed his heavy head. "You fix my wing," he said. "I will fix your skies." Sierra's head jerked. Her silver eyes went far again. "The hunters are closer," she whispered. "They test the radio." They use a friendly voice. They will ask, "Is everyone safe tonight?" Mara clicked off the yard light. The world went darker and kinder. She lifted a welding mask and fit it on her head. "We will not answer," she said. "We will work." A new light swept over the gas sign. It was thin and red and moved in dots. One dot slid across the old price numbers. Another dot crawled over the barn door. A soft camera click tapped the night like a metal fingernail on glass. A loudspeaker cracked. A man's voice rolled out, smooth and lazy, with a smile you could hear. "Good evening, neighbors," he said. "My name is Rook. I'm with a health inspection team. Please step out. Please deliver the alien and the lizard. There is a reward. We will be gentle if you are quick." Mara lowered the welding mask. Her hand did not shake. Sierra's hum stayed steady, but her lips went white. Vardis lifted his head and showed his teeth for the first time that night. The red dots multiplied. The loudspeaker hissed again. "Last warning," the man said, not smiling now. "Open the door." Mara said one line, quiet and firm. "A home is a promise." Then she struck the torch. The barn filled with blue light and sparks like small stars, and the night outside leaned closer to listen. Morning came fast. The sun rose red behind the water tower and turned the diner windows gold. Coffee steam climbed like small ghosts. A radio played soft guitar. The world tried to be normal. Mara unlocked the Blue Star Diner and flipped the sign. She kept her face calm, but her eyes visited the road, the roofline, the sky. Sierra sat in the corner booth with a notebook and a pencil she liked because it squeaked. She drew boxes and arrows like a quiet general. Jessie wiped ketchup bottles as if they were shields. Behind the old gas station, the barn held a dragon. Vardis lay on his side, wing wrapped with wire and cloth. He breathed even now, not easy, not fatal. The barn hummed with Sierra's low note. The hum hid the big breath. It held for now. The bell above the door rang. Two men walked in, boots dusty, smiles clean. They wore local caps with teams no one here cheered. They sat at the counter and ordered pie before breakfast. Pie is a friendly word. Their eyes were not. Mara poured coffee. "Passing through?" she asked. "Health work," the tall one said. His badge said Rook's Safety Services. It was not a county badge. It was shiny in the wrong way. "We heard the road was rough last night." Wind took a sign, Mara said. "Made a fuss." The other man said. He had a small scar at the lip and hands soft as paper money. Strange sparks, too. "Any trouble out back, ma'am?" "Just broken bolts," Mara said. Jessie came up with a rag. He was 9. He was brave. He was bad at lies. "We are out of cherry today," he blurted, even though the menu said apple and pecan. His face went red. He looked at the floor. Mara saved him fast. "Cherry went to the church potluck," she said. "Bless them." She set 2 plates, pecan cut clean, apple cut crooked. "Sugar fixes dust," the tall man smiled. He did not eat. "We admire tidy towns," he said to the room. "We help them stay that way. If a stray came through, we would take it gently. We give rewards." Jessie's hand tightened on the rag. Under the counter, Sierra tapped her pencil to a beat. Tap, tap, pause, tap, tap. The jukebox in the corner woke and played one slow drum, soft, almost like a heart. Her silver eyes were on the napkin holder, not on the men. She listened to air like other children listen to rain. "I hear 4 drones over Main Street," she whispered, tiny so only Mara could catch it. They talk to each other with little clicks. One is above our roof. It looks down. It likes corners and heat. Mara flipped bacon. She did not look up. Can you make it like the wrong corner? She asked. Yes, Sierra said. If I have a rhythm. The jukebox thumped a second beat. The neon sign outside buzzed with it. Sierra drew a short line in her notebook. In the kitchen, the old fridge motor joined the slow drum. It was a choir of small machines humming one song. Above the roof, the drone adjusted its gaze, curious, then certain. It turned its camera toward the abandoned feed store 2 blocks west. It thought it saw heat there. It did not. It left the diner and went to ask questions of an empty place. The scar-lipped man took one bite of pie. He chewed like a man reading a map. That feed store, he said casually to his partner, has new footprints this morning. Does it? The tall one said. We should tell the owner. City owns it now, Scarlip said. City likes help. Mara rinsed a cup that did not need rinsing. City likes receipts, she said. Leave your card. We'll call. The bell rang again. Sheriff Hale walked in, broad as a freezer and quiet as night. His hat was older than his badge. He nodded to Mara. He nodded to the 2 men. He poured his own coffee and paid without change. Road okay? He asked nobody in particular. Dusty, Mara said. Hale's eyes were lake water. Still on top, watch below. He stared 1 heartbeat too long at the shiny badges. You boys new? He asked. Helping the county, tall one said. We came fast. From where? South. Hale said. He sipped. He left. He did not look back. He stood a full minute outside under the awning, lit a match, and did not smoke. The match made a small white point in morning air and then died. He looked up the block, then down. He saw nothing. That told him something. Sierra's pencil scratched fast. 2 trucks idle on the highway shoulder, she breathed. Same rhythm as last night. 1 van with a belly full of noise, a jammer. They test the town's phone seams. They press on wires and wait for a shout. Phones stay quiet, Mara said. She looked at the old landline. She lifted the receiver and put it back down. That is also a kind of answer. The tall man put his fork down, untouched pie. We would hate to check houses, he said, smiling without teeth. Papers take time. People do not like papers. Best to be friendly. Mara placed a small plastic-wrapped loaf on the counter. Banana bread. Her mother's recipe. Take this for the road, she said. Tell your boss pie is warmer when folks are fed. The men looked at the bread. For a second, their faces were blank, as if the script did not list this line. The tall one nodded. The scarlip folded the bread like it was evidence. They left. The bell rang once. The diner breathed again. Jesse let out air he had held for an hour. I lied bad, he said. You told the truth, Mara said. We were out of cherry. Sierra kept tapping the slow beat. The drone came back, she said. It is angry now. It knows the feed store is cold. It will look harder. Mara wiped the counter in a long line. Then we give it a bigger lie, she said. Talk to me, Sierra drew boxes. The jukebox beat makes their timing slip. The neon buzz adds noise to their range. The old radio tower behind the water tower can carry a steady pulse across the block. If we sync the pulse with lawn mowers, air units, and wind chimes, their sensors see a wash, not a face. How do we sync lawn mowers? Jesse asked, almost smiling. Neighbors, Mara said simply. She took a marker and wrote on the specials board in big, friendly letters. Block party tonight. Free pie. Bring your mower for a tune. Up Jesse laughed out loud. A pie party with mowers? Music is music, Mara said. Sierra's head turned. Her silver eyes went far again. The hunters split, she said. 2 scouts take County Road 7 toward the cotton field. Their truck talks to the drone above us. I can tell the truck a wrong road if I borrow the jukebox voice. Borrow it, Mara said. Sierra tapped. Drew hummed. The jukebox clicked to a new track with a deeper drum. The drone tilted. The scout truck's GPS blinked, paused, and then happily announced a detour through a dead field with a locked gate and a deep ditch. The scouts laughed. They would not laugh later. Mara smiled into her apron. Good. At noon, the TV above the counter glowed with local news. The anchor's mouth moved careful. The words moved mean. Reward doubled, the banner said. The picture next to it was not a dragon. It was a grainy shape with too many teeth. The voice said dangerous, contagion, property risk. The county seal sat in the corner like a stamp on a lie. Sierra's pencil stopped. "Rook is coming himself," she whispered. "He likes to finish in person." "Let him wear a clean shirt," Mara said. "We will wear work." Afternoon heat pressed down. The diner AC rattled and hummed to Sierra's beat. Out back, the barn stayed dark. Varda slept not deeply. He dreamed of high wind and the smell of diesel kindness. He woke to the pattern of lawn mowers, starting one by one on the block. A chorus of ordinary engines. A roof made of sound. At sunset, Sheriff Hale returned and sat at the counter again. His hat was lower on his brow now. "Block party?" he asked, eyes still on the road. "Bring your mower," Mara said. He grunted. "Mine's old." "Old hum's better," she said. He drank, stood, left bills on the counter, and said one line at the door without turning his head. "I didn't see anything." It was not a lie. It was a promise. The bell rang for the last time that night. The two clean men came back with different smiles and a car with no plates. A third man stood between them. He wore no badge, no cap. He had the kind of face that looks like a mirror until it looks like a knife. He stepped inside. He did not sit. "Evening," he said. The room felt colder when he spoke. "I'm Rook." Jesse swallowed. Sierra's pencil broke. Mara set down a plate she did not remember picking up. "Kitchen's closed," she said. "I'm here for health," Rook said, eyes sliding over tile, booths, vents, door frames. "This town is sick with secrets." Mara's voice did not shake. "Then say your cure." Rook smiled a little. "Open your barn." Mara folded the dish towel on the counter with neat hands. "A home is a promise," she said. Rook nodded as if he liked that line. He tilted his head. Outside, engines idled. Above, a red dot crawled down the diner's neon like an ant toward sugar. Rook raised his palm. "Last chance." The jukebox clicked and went dead. The neon buzz died. The AC fell silent. The whole block's hum choked like a singer cut off mid-note. Sierra's eyes went wide. "The jammer van moved," she whispered. "It parked under the tower." Rook's smile reached his eyes now. "Good," he said softly. "Now we can hear each other." A drone floodlight crashed through the front windows and turned the diner white. Outside, the water tower groaned under a new weight. Something heavy climbed the ladder in the dark. Mara did not look away. She whispered, "Hold," and reached for the light switch that would do nothing, and for the wrench that would. The diner turned white. A drone floodlight burned through the front windows like a second sun. Dust hung in the beam like snow that did not fall. Plates on the counter showed their small chips and old stories. People froze. Rook did not blink. He stood in the white and smiled. "Better," he said. "Truth likes light." Mara did not shield her eyes. She reached for the wall switch out of habit. It clicked. Nothing changed. She let her hand fall to the wrench under the counter. Her fingers closed on cold steel. That felt like truth, too. Sierra squinted toward the ceiling. Her ears heard more than the light. "The hum is gone," she whispered. "Our cover is dead." She looked toward the water tower. "The jammer van sits under the radio tower and eats all our rhythm." Outside, engines idled with a hungry sound. Boots shuffled in gravel. Red dots crawled across the neon letters like ants on a fallen cookie. Up in the dark, something heavy climbed the water tower ladder. The old bolts groaned. A shadow moved against the sky, wide, tired, careful. "Vardis," Jesse breathed. Rook's eyes flicked to the window, then back to Mara. "You keep a large pet," he said softly. "Bring him to heel." Mara did not answer him. She called without moving her lips. "Vardis, stop!" The shadow paused. Claw tips clinked on steel. Then a low reply rolled over the roof like thunder under a blanket. "I will be a roof," the dragon said. "I promised." Sierra's silver eyes went glass bright. "He will break if he lifts wrong," she said. "He needs a steady beat." "The van killed the beat," Mara said. Jesse pointed with a small, shaking hand. "The neon sign is dead." "The jukebox is dead. What can still sing?" Mara's eyes went to the kitchen. The old walk-in cooler hummed even under the jammer. It was wired to a separate line from the old days when storms punched power, but cooks kept food cold. The humming was weak but brave. "That will do," Sierra said. "We make the whole street sing the cooler's song." "How?" Jesse asked. His voice was too high. "Air," Sierra said. "Ducts, vents, fry hood." She grabbed a napkin and drew a box with arrows. "Mara, turn the cooler door half open. Jesse, set all the table fans to face the vents. I will tickle the hood motor. It will wobble, but it will answer." Mara ran. Jesse ran. Sierra slid across the floor on her knees and pulled the panel on the fry hood. She hummed a small, sharp line into a rusty wire. The motor coughed. Then it shook. Then it found the cooler's pitch and stood beside it like a friend. Rook watched them with interest, like a man at a magic show who knows where the wires hide but still wants to see the trick. He lifted a hand. His two clean men moved toward the counter. Sheriff Hale stepped into the door. He did not fill it, he defined it. Floodlight lit one side of his face. The other stayed night. He did not draw his gun. He looked at Rook and said a small, dangerous line. "Boy," he said, though Rook was not a boy, "you have one job here. Finish your pie." Rook's smile bent. "Pie is cold," he said. "Then warm it," Hale said. His hand hung near his belt. He did not touch the gun. He did not need to. His hat brim lowered a fraction. "You did not check in at the station." "That is rude." Rook's eyes flicked, and the floodlight eased a little as if embarrassed. "We will show papers," he said. "Do it," Hale said. He did not move. He blocked the door with the kind of quiet that shifts plans. Mara held the cooler door with her elbow. Cold air poured into the kitchen like a small river. Jesse lined fans to the vents. Their plastic blades beat to the cooler's note. Air pushed into the ducts. The diner breathed again. The note crawled up into the roof. Along the rafters across the block, outside, the lawnmowers coughed back to life one by one, neighbors pulling ropes without knowing why, hearing the sheriff's calm voice on the radio telling them the block party started early. The street hummed. It was not loud. It was wide. Sierra felt it and let out a breath she held since the light exploded. "Good," she whispered. "Now I wrap Vardis in the song." She set both palms on the counter. She closed her eyes. The hum stretched from kitchen to roof to tower. It folded around the dragon's shoulders like a blanket. The tower stopped groaning. Vardis climbed the last rungs and put his back against the tank. He did not lift. He spread, wings out, plates scraping steel, until the big round belly of the water tank sat under a roof of scale. On the street, Rook's men lifted rifles toward the tower. "Drop him," one said. Rook raised a finger. "Not yet." He tilted his head, listening. The hum annoyed his earpiece. He glanced toward the jammer van. "Move it," he said into his cuff. "Higher ground." The van started. It rolled out from under the tower toward the diner alley, hunting a better bite. "The van moves," Sierra said. "Closer." Sheriff Hale stepped sideways, one slow step, so his shoulder touched the frame. "You can roll that trash can up my street," he told Rook, still quiet. "You cannot park it." Rook looked at Hale as if measuring furniture. "Lawman," he said, "you are outnumbered." Hale did not smile. "I am out of patience," he said. Rook glanced at the floodlight operator. The beam swung away, washed the alley, hit the jammer van as it turned. Mara saw her one move. She threw a wrench. It was a bad throw and a great idea. The wrench hit a metal rack by the fryer. The rack fell into the alley door, smashed a stack of grease tins, and sent a shiny river down the alley slope under the van's front wheel. Jesse understood without words. He grabbed the old lighter from the tip jar. He flicked it. It did not catch. He flicked it again. Flame bloomed small and blue and scared. He looked at Mara. Mara nodded once. "Fire line," she said. Jesse touched flame to grease. A low, quick snake of fire ran along the metal edge and licked the van tire. It did not explode. It hissed. It forced the van to jerk back, then forward, wheels slipping, engine high, jammer field wobbling. Sierra inhaled. The hum came back full. She pushed it into the ducts, up the tower, over the street. Vardis felt it in his bones. He belonged to the note. Rook's smile thinned. He tapped his cuff. "Plan B." Two drones dropped their floodlights and came low, nets ready, little teeth bright. They aimed for the diner windows. Sheriff Hale moved first. He flicked his coffee on the floor and kicked a chair into the beam. Wood cracked. The drone hit the chair, stumbled, and ate tile. The second drone spat a net. Mara yanked the pie case door open. The net hit glass, wrapped it, and dragged the heavy box off the counter into the drone's face. It choked and died among cherries and sugar. "Health inspection," Mara said dryly, breathless. Rook did not laugh. He lifted his hand, and the street outside answered. 4 men in dark jackets stepped from behind cars and aimed at the tower. Their rifles hummed a tight, mean tune. Sierra heard the tune and shook her head. "Rail sighting," she whispered. "Short barrel. Fast, Pierce." "Vardes," Mara called through the vent like a prayer. "You must not lift. Just be the roof." "I am the roof," the dragon said. He pressed his shoulder plates hard against the tank. The tank sang back, a low steel moan. Bolts creaked. Water sloshed inside like a sleeping lake waking. Rook lifted 2 fingers. "On my mark," he said. Sheriff Hale leaned into the doorframe. "Not today," he said. He did not shout it. He laid it down like a rule. He raised his voice just enough to reach the street. "Turn off your safeties. You are not authorized." One of Rook's men flinched and looked at his rifle as if it could answer. That was enough time for the alley to roar. The grease fire met a stack of cardboard. A hot wall rose between van and tower. The jammer field hiccuped and shrank. The diner's neon flickered back alive in broken letters. The jukebox whispered a beat like a weak heart finding rhythm. Sierra caught the beat and multiplied it. The whole block found key. Wind chimes rang like little bells. AC units coughed into time. A dog barked on the beat because dogs know drums. Rook frowned for the first time. He lowered one finger. "Now." The shooters fired. The world slowed. Sierra threw her voice into the sights, one thin, hot whistle that says farther than you think. The bullets lifted a hair. They scraped Vardis's plate and not the tank. Sparks fell like orange rain. The dragon did not roar. He held. "Reload!" one man shouted. "Hold!" Rook said sharply. He was listening again. Something new moved in the street rhythm. Not drones, not AC, engines, many engines, lawnmowers. Neighbors pushed them in a line, pull cords swinging like tails, old motors angry and proud. Sheriff Hale had not left his radio quiet. He had called people. People came with what they had. It was funny and then not funny at all. The block became a choir. The shooters' HUDs trembled. Range numbers danced. Heat maps smeared. Rook's jaw tightened. "EMP," he said into his cuff. "Pulse it." The van shook off fire and revved high. A coil inside it ticked up like a bomb that is not a bomb and is worse. Sierra's hands went ice cold. "If he pulses," she whispered, "I go deaf. I lose the song. We all go quiet." Mara looked at Jesse. He looked back. He was small. He was brave. He nodded. "Cellar," Mara said. They ran to the back room. Beneath the flower shelf was a trap door, old storm cellar, wood swollen by years. Jesse threw it open. A narrow stair fell into dirt and cool. "This way," he said. "Down?" Sierra asked, startled. "Not to hide," Mara said. She grabbed a dusty breaker box that fed the neon sign. "To pull the one plug the van can't see." She dropped into the cellar with the speed of a young woman she had been once. Jesse followed. Sierra stood in the white light and the hum and the smell of hot sugar and made a choice. "I will hold the song," she said, and put her hands flat on the floor, listening to the town through wood and nails. Above, Rook lifted his hand again. "Pulse," he said. In the alley, the van's coil hit ready. A deep, ugly thud rolled out, a punch you feel in your teeth. The jukebox died. The neon gasps went out. The AC stopped. The lawnmowers coughed and choked. The hum fell like a dropped plate. Sierra's ears went to knives. She whispered, "I will sing now. If I sing now, I may forget later." She opened her mouth. She sang into the bones of the diner, into the tower, into the dragon's plates, and the sheriff's hat brim, and the mower belts, and the wires behind the walls. Her song was small and huge. The EMP rolled over it and cracked. For one breath, everything was two things at once, silent and loud. Then the world picked one. The EMP field split like glass. The lawnmowers screamed back to life. Vardis held the tower. Rook took one step forward with new orders on his lips, and a shape dropped from the water tank ladder behind him, casting a long, low shadow across his polished shoes. The EMP groaned through the street like thunder in a tunnel, then cracked. Engines coughed back to life. Lawnmowers screamed as one. The neon flickered on in broken letters. The jukebox found its beat again, weak but real. Rook's jaw tightened. He took one slow step forward, forming a new order on his lips. A shape dropped from the water tower ladder behind him. Rusted steel, a whole ladder section Vardis had shaken loose. It slammed the pavement an inch from Rook's boot and crushed the floodlight rig. The white glare died. Shadows rushed back into the diner like water. Sheriff Hale did not waste the beat. "Street is closed," he said, voice flat. "Inspection over," Rook lifted 2 fingers. His men raised rifles, then checked their sights, confused by the shaking numbers. The lawnmower choir vibrated their rangefinders. Sierra held the hum together with both palms on the floor, eyes shut, mouth a thin line. The jammer van lurched through the alley, wheels smoking from grease fire, coils spinning up again. It wanted to punch a second pulse. Mara climbed out of the storm cellar with a dusty breaker box handle in her hand and a streak of dirt on her cheek. She met Sierra's eyes. "Can you keep the song while I kill his coil?" "I can," Sierra said. "But I cannot talk for a while." "Do not," Mara said. "Hold." She grabbed the heavy CO2 extinguisher by the fryer, shouldered through the back door, and sent a cold white river into the van's grill. The coil's glow dimmed. The engine choked. The driver cursed and punched the dash. The jammer's hum fell to a sulk. "Good," Hale said, not moving from the doorframe. Rook's smile came back, thin and sharp. He tapped his cuff. "Plan C," he said. "Light the shoulder." A mile away, 2 of his men tossed flares into dry grass along the highway. Wind took orange like it takes gossip. Flame ran fast toward town. Sierra's eyes flew open. "Fire," she whispered. "It comes to flush heat. It hunts roofs." Outside, sirens stuttered to life. A small ambulance turned off County Road 7, saw smoke, braked hard, and stuck. The tires spun. The motor screamed. Over open radio came a shaky voice. "Unit 12, baby on board, blocked at the overpass, oxygen low, anyone." Sierra's head snapped toward the sound like a compass to north. "Real," she said. "A baby." Mara looked at the dragon in the dark. He covered the water tank like a roof of scales, but his right wing shook. He bled smoke. He would not survive a lift. "Don't," Jessie whispered, reading her face. "He will break." Mara's voice was calm, iron under cotton. "We choose," she said. "A home is a promise." "Vardis, can you crawl?" "I can crawl," the dragon said. "I cannot fly." "Crawl then," she said. "Under, not over." "Be a roof." Sheriff Hale keyed his mic. "All units open the overpass lane," he said. "Block Rook's trucks. Clear a straight line to Unit 12. Rook heard him and smiled wider. "Do your best," he said softly. He touched his cuff. The scout truck near the overpass pulled across both lanes. Mara turned to Sierra. "Can you talk to pumps?" "Yes." "Open the hydrant by the old feed store," Mara said. "Make a wall between the fire and the road." Sierra closed her eyes and sang in her throat. A square of water shot from a hydrant and splashed against heat. Steam rose like ghosts dying. "Jessie," Mara said. Flags, he knew. He snatched 2 dish towels, tied them to broken mop handles, and ran for the street. He waved left-right in a pattern he learned from Hale at a safety day. Come, straight, straight. The ambulance in the smoke saw the boy, believed the flags, and inched. Vardis slid down the tower, plates screeching steel. He hit the pavement with both front claws, and a growl he kept inside his mouth for the child's sake. He crawled, a moving wall, low and long. Rook watched, eyes bright like a crow at a coin. He pulled a small camera from his pocket. He loved proof more than mercy. Mara ran ahead of the dragon, breath sharp, legs sure. She reached the trapped ambulance at the overpass. The driver looked 10 years older than his license. A nurse in the back held a blue infant bag on a tiny face and counted. 26. 27. Out, Mara said. We push! The driver climbed down, shaking. He saw the dragon crawling low under gray smoke and almost dropped. It's a roof, Mara said. Not a monster. Trust me. Vardes slid under the ambulance frame until his shoulders were the ground. On 3, he rumbled. Mara did not say 1 or 2. 3, she said. The dragon lifted without lifting. His backplates took the weight. The ambulance rose a hand's width. Its wheels found purchase on hot gravel. It rolled. Vardes pushed with legs that trembled and did not fail. The nurse held the baby and cried without sound. Sierra's song ran through hydrant pipes and into pumps and out sprinklers. A wet line kept flame from kissing paint. Sheriff Hale stepped into smoke and waved the last sedans clear with his hat as if it were a law book. The ambulance crossed the bad patch. Its wheels hit clean asphalt. It rolled down into town. The nurse laughed once, a raw sound. Thank you, she said to a dragon and a cook. Rook clicked his camera. Flash. One clean frame. Dragon under ambulance. Woman pushing, boy with flags, smoke making a good painting for bad men. He looked at the screen. The shot was perfect. He sent it. Sierra flinched as if struck. The picture moved, she said. It went to a bigger mouth. The bounty is active, she breathed shallow. He called hunters who do not speak. Cold ones. Jesse lowered his flags, panting. Is the baby okay? Yes, Mara said, voice soft now. Yes. Fire hissed against wet curb and lost interest. Wind changed its mind. Rook slid his camera away and clapped once, slow, like in a theater. That, he said, was beautiful. It will buy me men. Sheriff Hale turned and looked at him with a new temperature in his eyes. You lit a highway to catch a rumor, he said. Rook shrugged. I lit a test. They passed, and you failed, Hale said. Rook's smile chipped. We'll see. The ambulance rolled through the gate. The doctor's voice crackled from the clinic. Baby inside. Oxygen on, we're good. Vardes sagged onto the asphalt. His plates rattled. He laid his head down on both foreclaws, careful not to break the street. He closed his eyes a second. He opened them again because he had not been given sleep yet. Sierra leaned against the diner door. The song in her chest had sharp edges. I need quiet, she whispered. You can have 3 minutes, Mara said. Then we work again. Rook tapped his cuff. His van answered with a thin beep. He did not look away from Mara as he spoke. Bring the long case. The jammer van's back doors opened. 2 men hauled out a rail launcher the size of a fence post, matte black, mean. They set the tripod in Rook's shadow. They unfolded a scope that did not care about mowers or hum. Sierra tasted the scope with her teeth. Short barrel rail, she said. Fast pierce, low hum. It drinks our beat and does not get drunk. Targets? One man asked Rook. Rook pointed lazily without turning his head. Tank collar, he said. Then lizard. Then breaker box if they show nerve again. Mara put a hand on Vardes's cheek. The plate was hot as a stovetop. Do not lift, she said. You will tear. I will not lift, the dragon said. I will be the roof. Jesse tugged Mara's sleeve. If the rail hits the tank, the town. Mara's eyes found the sign on the water tower. Blue star in faded paint. She thought of breakfast dishes and school buses and small promises that make a place. Sierra, she said. Can you make the rail see wind? Yes, Sierra said, for 1 heartbeat. Maybe 2. But if I sing now, I lose names for a while. What names? My own, yours, the one for sky, Sierra said, honest. Mara's face did not twist. It softened like leather warmed by sun. You keep your name, she said. I will take the wind. How? Sierra asked. Mara nodded toward the neon sign's old transformer box and the diner's grease barrels. An idea lived there, big and dumb and brave. Sheriff Hale read it on her face and did not forbid it. He said only, I'll cover your step. Rook leaned over the scope. The rail hummed a small, eager hum. Men stepped back because even fools learn to. A low ping cut across the radio, not County, not Rook. Sierra heard it and went still, like an animal that sees a thing older than itself. What? Mara asked, quick. Sierra's voice was tin. A cold message, she said. From above the clouds, no words. Only permission. Permission for what? Jesse whispered. Sierra swallowed. A hunter, she said. It comes when proof is real, Rook's cuff buzzed. He smiled without joy. There you are, he murmured. The sky over the water tower changed color. Not much. Enough. A clean, cold triangle of blue that was not sky slid out from the sun's glare and locked its bright, indifferent eye on the tower. Rook placed his cheek to the rail. Mark, he said. Sierra's fingers lifted, ready to spend her one heartbeat. Mara kicked the transformer door open. Sheriff Hale stepped into someone else's shot without blinking. Vardis pressed harder against the tank and whispered, I am the roof! And the hunter's cold light drew a perfect line to the heart of the town. The hunter's light drew a perfect line to the water tank. It did not blink. It did not care. It only measured. Rook leaned to the rail scope. Mark, he said, soft as a razor. Sheriff Hale stepped so his shoulder touched the doorframe again. He did not look at the sky. He watched Rook's hands. Don't, he said, not loud, not begging, just law. Rook smiled without teeth. Watch, he answered. Sierra felt the hunter's cold attention like ice on her neck. She placed her fingertips on the diner tile. I can bend the rail one heartbeat, she whispered. After that, I may forget names. She looked at Mara. I will still know you. I will not know your word. Mara's hand went to Sierra's cheek. Warm palm, fast touch. Keep your word, she said. I will move the air. How? Jesse asked. His voice was small and brave. Mara's eyes went to the greasy barrels by the back door, and the old neon transformer bolted to the wall. Heat makes wind. Wind makes sight dance, she said. We make a hot wall on his numbers. Sheriff Hale read it. You'll light it, he said. Just enough to shimmer, Mara said. Then kill it, Hale nodded once. I'll cover. Mara yanked the transformer door open with the heel of her boot. Sparks nipped her wrist. She didn't flinch. She grabbed the dented pie tin from the floor, scooped a skin of grease from a barrel, and slung it low across the alley concrete. The film flashed in the wind like oil on water. Jesse, she said, fan it with the signboard. Gentle. He grabbed the specials board and waved. The thin flame she'd started a minute ago crawled back to life. A shy, low, hot line. It licked the grease and breathed. Heat rose, air bent. The alley shimmered as if summer had been poured there all at once. Sierra shut her eyes. On 3, she said. And for once she counted 1 and 2 because counting was a kind of rope now. 1, 2. Rook exhaled and touched the trigger. 3, Sierra sang. Her voice went inside the scope and told it one lie. Farther by a thumb. The rail cracked. The slug cut the air with a flat, cruel sound. Heat rippled. Sight danced. Numbers lied. The shot skimmed high. It shaved a strip of scale off Vardis's shoulder and burned a bright groove across the tank collar without punching through. Sparks flew. Water thundered inside like a heart hitting ribs. Vardis did not roar. He pressed harder. I am the roof, he said through teeth. Rook did not curse. He adjusted fast and clean. Second round, he said. Sierra's breath ripped in her throat. She blinked. Her lips moved. No word came out. She stared at Mara, fear and apology and static. My name? She whispered. Lost, Mara didn't let the fear touch her face. You're home, she said. That's enough. The hunter above them did not fire. It watched the miss. It changed something small, color, pulse, nothing a man could notice, and lowered its light from the tank to the diner roof, to the vent. To the girl, Sheriff Hale saw the light move and stepped into it on purpose. He lifted his hat and tipped the brim to the hunter like it was a rude man at church. Eyes on me, he said. The hunter's light slid a hair, annoyed, and locked on Hale's chest. It tracked him as if he were a machine. Rook didn't look up. Keep him, he told the sky, as if he owned it. To his crew, cover. 2 more dark coats lifted rifles. Mower engines shook their sights. They blinked and refocused. They could still hit at this range. Enough to ruin. Mara twisted the CO2 handle and white clouds smothered the low flame before it became a mouth. Heat faded. The shimmer thinned. The alley went flat again. Can you give me wind without fire? She asked Sierra. Sierra's eyes were glass. She touched the fry hood and the cooler with blind fingers and hummed a tiny broken note. The hood motor fluttered. The cooler groaned. A small, stubborn draft lifted from the alley to the tower. Not much. Enough to warp a number by a breath. Jesse sucked air. "I can make more," he said, and ran for the old pickup behind the diner. He turned the key. The engine coughed twice and died. He swore, a new skill. He pumped the pedal and tried again. The truck woke like a bear. He dropped it into gear, rolled forward, and stopped with the hood under the water tower ladder, engine revving, fan blasting hot wind up the rungs. "Good," Mara shouted. "Hold it!" The rail launcher clicked. The second slug slid into place. Rook's cheek returned to the scope. He felt the shimmer in his teeth and liked the problem. "On my count," he told his men. 2 shots north, 1 south. "We bracket." Sheriff Hale leaned to the side just enough for Vardis to see his eyes. "Don't move," Hale said. "Breathe shallow." "I am Stone," Vardis said. The radio on Rook's wrist chirped once. Permission again. He smiled. "Hunter has the girl," he murmured. "We finished the tank. Mark." Sierra pressed both palms to the tile and reached for the word that was gone. She found a shape instead. 3 beats, a breath, a curve. She hummed the curve into the hood. The draft wobbled the rail's range just enough to make math sweat. Rook fired. Time split. The slug kissed the collar, too high to kill, too low to miss, and tore a curved strip of steel. The tank shuddered. A hairline leak sprayed clean water in a silver fan across Vardis's neck. Steam rose where water met hot plate. Vardis grunted. He did not lift. Rook's 2 riflemen fired north and south. The north round snapped Sheriff Hale's brim and cut a notch like a crescent moon. He did not blink. The south round tore a blue star chip from the tower paint and nothing else. "Again," Rook said, still calm. Sierra's breath turned to needles. The hunter's light tightened on her like a hand on a wrist. She tasted metal. "It learns me," she whispered. "It takes my echo." Mara grabbed the breaker handle from the cellar and jammed it against the neon transformer so it arced without catching, a cold lightning buzzing the alley air. The hunter's light shook a hair. Static ran up its beam like gnats. Rook's eye narrowed. "Shut that down," he told the van. The van edged past the dead floodlight toward the alley mouth. Greasy soot made it slide. The driver swore and gunned it. He had to choose, stabilize the coil or kill the arc. He chose badly. The coil hiccuped. The EMP hissed and died. The jukebox woke on its own with a single drum hit like a heart restarting. Sierra gasped. The note became a line again. She climbed it with both hands, Rook's smile thin to bone. "Enough," he said and reached under the rail stand. He flipped a small cap and pulled a safety pin. The launcher's side panel opened like a flower and revealed an ugly dart the size of a hand, wired to a coil. Not a slug, a grapnel. Designed to hook plates, tear roofs, drag weights. "Hook the lizard," Rook said. "Pull him off the tank." "No," Sierra said, and her voice was a real word again. Jesse leaned on the pickup horn. A long, low blat rolled up the ladder and scared 6 pigeons out of nowhere. Their wings chopped the air into messy pieces. Feathers spun. Numbers trembled. Rook fired the grapnel. It screamed past the tank collar and ate into Vardis's shoulder plate with a sound like a nail in a chalkboard the size of a church. The tether line went tight. The launcher's coil whined and began to winch. Vardis rocked, not much. Enough for Mara to taste blood in her mouth from fear she would not admit. "Do not lift," she said, teeth around the word. "I am the roof," Vardis said, and dug his claws into asphalt. The street groaned. The winch pulled. The claws held. His torn wings shook like an old flag. Sheriff Hale stepped between Rook and the rail and put his chest to the steel stand. "Back up," he said. Rook's men raised rifles. Hale did not draw. He looked at them like a man looks at a dog that forgot it is small. "Try me," he said. The hunter above moved at last. Its cold eye dropped 2 glittering threads. They fell slow like winter spiders. They were not threads. They were spears of white metal, thin as pins until they were not. They aimed for the diner vent. They aimed for Sierra. Sierra's hands shook. "It wants my song," she said. "It will pin my mouth." Mara threw the breaker lever again, and the neon transformer spat a bright arc up the alley wall. The arc snapped one spear aside. It skewed and buried in brick. The second kept falling. Clean, blind, perfect. Jessie screamed, "Sierra!" Sierra did not run. She pressed her palms harder to the floor and sang into the dragon's plates and the sheriff's bones and the tower bolts and the weak, brave cooler and the clumsy, honest mowers. The spear kept falling. Vardis saw the white line in his eye corner. He could move once. He could lift once. He had promised not to. He lifted anyway, not his body. His wing, the broken one, just enough to make a roof where no roof was. The spear hit wing, not girl. It punched through old plate and stuck, humming, hot and cold at once. Vardis's breath left him like wind leaving a canyon. He did not fall. He pressed the wing back down over Sierra like a lid. Rook's winch screamed and seized. The grapnel line snapped with a gunshot pop and whipped away like a mad rope. It took the edge off Rook's sleeve and cut a clean line in his suit. He did not flinch, but his jaw clicked once. Water sheeted off the tank and ran down Vardis's wing, hissing on the spear. Steam made a new fog that the hunter's eye did not like. "Reload," Rook said, calm, but his voice had a stone in it now. Sheriff Hale reached for the rail with both hands. Muscles cording and threw it off the stand. It crashed to the street and slid under the pickup's bumper. Jessie hit the gas and parked on it. Rook's men lifted rifles. Hale finally drew. Lights flashed blue in the distance. Not Rook's, real county? Sirens grew teeth. The hunter's cold eye blinked once. It began to climb, slow, as if it had done its part and was bored. Sierra sagged. She had a name again. It was hers. She tasted it like water. Mara put her hand on Vardis's cut plate. "You broke the rule," she said, voice shaking now, only now. "I kept the roof," he said, and almost smiled. Rook checked his cuff. A new message crawled across it. Only a symbol. Freeze. He looked up at the hunter, then at the sheriff, then at the dragon pinning a town's water with a ruined wing and stubborn claws. He made a decision a man like him hates. "Fall back," he said. His men didn't move. He didn't repeat himself. He looked at one. The man swallowed and stepped back. The others followed. Rook took one step toward the door anyway, toward Mara, as if he needed to look at the thing that had beaten him this hour so he could hate it from the right angle later. "You won a day," he said. "Not a road." Mara wiped blood from her knuckles she had not seen arrive. "A road is a road," she said. "We take them one at a time." Rook's cuff buzzed again, angry. He turned away. The county cruisers skidded to a stop, lights washing the block. The hunter climbed into blue glare and vanished. Vardis shivered under a stuck spear but held the tank. Sierra sat on the tile with empty hands and a full name, and far above all of them, a second cold light opened, smaller, sharper, pointing not at a tank or a roof this time, but at a map line leading straight to Mara's house. Blue lights washed the street. Sirens sobbed and went quiet. Deputies spilled out, saw too much, and tried to look calm. Rook checked his cuff, read the freeze symbol again, and stepped back into his shadows. His men drifted with him. The jammer van limped. The rail lay under Jessie's truck tire like a dead snake. Vardis still held the water tank. A white spear hummed through his torn wing. Water mist cooled his neck. Steam rose soft. Sierra sat on the diner tile, palms flat, breathing like she had run through a river. Her name was back. It sat in her mouth like a coin she did not want to drop. Mara checked her people with fast eyes. "Alive," she said to herself. Then her gaze snapped to the sky. A new cold triangle of light hung far and thin, not at the tower, not at the street, pointing down the highway toward a small dark square under a bigger dark sky. Her house. Sierra heard it too. "It looks at your roof," she said. "It knows a place there." Sheriff Hale did not curse. He moved like a door being locked. "Rook tagged you," he said to Mara. "Mailbox." "In part 4, Mara said. She remembered his soft hands on the metal, a small coin under the lip, a dumb, simple tracker. She had not seen it. He left proof. Deputies fanned out. One young one, nervous, said, "We should bring you to the station, ma'am." "No walls," Mara said. "Not tonight." The air changed. Wind ran a hand through the town. Dust lifted and moved east. Lightning flashed far off, dry and thin. Sierra stood slow. "The storm lies," she said, voice small. "It makes false wind, false distance. I can make it lie more. To him, not to us. Can you walk?" Mara asked. "Yes," Sierra said. She swayed. Jesse caught her elbow like a gentleman from a black-and-white movie. She smiled once, fast. Vardez spoke from the tower, deep and tired. "Go," he said. "I will hold. You can't move," Mara said. "I am a roof," he said. "A roof stays," Hale pointed at two deputies. "With me. Diner holds the tank. We protect the dragon. The rest of you, block County 7. Keep their trucks off the road." He looked at Mara. "You handle your house." Mara nodded. She put her hand on Sierra's shoulder. "We take the road," she said. "Jesse, keys!" Jesse ran to the pickup. The engine was hot and loud and happy to be needed twice in one day. They drove. The storm walked the fields. Heat lightning stitched the far sky like a tailor with a quick needle. The new cold light above did not get bigger. It got sharper. Sierra leaned her forehead on the cool window. "It pings the tag," she said. "Every 30 heartbeats. It smiles when it hears hello." "Then we make it hear a better hello," Mara said. They turned onto their street. Mailbox at the end. A little blue house with a white door. A wind chime made of spoons. A porch with 2 chairs that had seen all kinds of mornings. The storm made the spoons laugh in the wrong key. Jesse jumped out. He ran to the mailbox and felt under the lip. "Cold coin, sticky back." He peeled the tracker off. "Got it," he said. Sierra's eyes went wide. "Do not kill it," she said. "Make it travel. Make the hunter chase a ghost." Mara held out her hand. Jesse dropped the coin into her palm. It ticked like a fake heartbeat. "Truck bed," Mara said. "We drive it far." "Not yet," Sierra said. She put 2 fingers near the coin without touching it. "It knows when it moves too fast?" "It calls that escape. We must make it walk." "How?" Jesse asked. Mara's eyes went to the clothesline, to a row of aluminum pie tins clipped as scare sparklers for birds. Wind pushed the line. The tins flashed and clicked. "We make it stroll," she said. They clipped the tracker to a tin and slid the tin to the far end of the line. Wind pulled. The tin drifted like a lazy fish. A hello ping rose to the sky. The cold light answered. "It believed a walk," Sierra breathed. "Good, now again." They moved the tin to the next line, the next hook, the next. Not fast, not slow. The cold light followed the yard like a curious cat. Inside, the house felt smaller than it had in the morning. Mara saw Jesse's drawings on the fridge. A dragon with square teeth. A truck that was really just a box with circles. She put her palm on the paper for 1 second, then let go. "The hunter will drop a spear," Sierra said. "It will aim at this doorframe or at that vent. It likes corners." Mara nodded. She was a cook. She knew corners. "Grease lives there. Heat hides there. Trouble stacks there. Sprinklers," she said. "We wet the roof." Jesse dashed to the hose. He stood on the porch rail and hit the shingles with a hard, bright fan. Water ran in silver lines. The spoons rang louder. The storm crawled closer. Thunder talked to itself and forgot its words. Sierra walked to the breaker box on the side wall and hummed into it. The old air unit coughed and turned a slow fan through the vents. It made a draft straight up through the attic. Warm air out, cool air in, a lie for the spear. Mara looked at the garden. Rows of pie tins and foil glowed and flipped. The storm took them and made little lightning where there was none. She smiled. Good. Headlights came slow. Sheriff Hale's brown cruiser rolled into the yard. He stepped out with a long-handled bolt cutter and a coil of heavy wire. "What's that for?" Jesse asked. Hale's face stayed flat. "Kites," he said. "We do not fly them. We hang them. We give lightning a place to go that is not you." They planted 2 fence posts, ran the wire high and slack, and hung more foil strips and tins. The yard looked like a poor man's festival. The sky liked it. Sierra's head jerked. "The hunter smiles," she said. "It sees a small city. It does not know which door to love." The storm arrived. Wind leaned into the porch. Dust ran down the street and tried to leave town. Lightning stitched nearer and louder. The first big drop hit the welcome mat and made a dark flower. Hale set the bolt cutter by the door. "When it drops," he said, "you cut the clothesline. Let half fly. We want a moving wall." Mara nodded. "On your word." The cold light above tilted. It drew a thin line from sky to house. It picked a seam. It chose. Sierra closed her eyes. "Vent," she said. "Kitchen vent." Mara and Jessie moved at once. He opened the back door. She turned the stove hood on full until its old motor sang a hungry note to the night. Wind shoved the smell of onions, soap, and rain out of the vent like a flag. The hunter's thin light narrowed. "It liked that flag? Now?" Jessie asked, white-faced. "Wire clippers ready." "Now," Hale said. Mara cut the clothesline. Half the tins took the wind and rose. A silver curtain unfurled across the yard. Drops hit foil and went back to sky. Static crawled through the wire and up into nothing. The spear fell. It was not white like the first. It was clear, like ice. You did not see it until it was close, and then it was all you saw. The yard moved. The tins spun. The sprinklers hissed. The vent breathed. The breaker hummed. The spear blinked once, trying to judge distance on a field that would not hold still. It hit the pump house beside the garden. The little roof blew apart into wet sticks. The spear stuck in dirt and steamed, confused. Water gazered from a cracked line and turned the yard into a small river. Sierra exhaled, a sound like prayer and metal. "The storm lies," she said. "We told it where." "Again," Hale said. He did not smile. He pointed up. "It will try twice." Jessie ran and opened the sprinkler valves full. Water danced everywhere. The yard became a bad mirror that lied to the sky. Mara ripped the mailbox from its post with a grunt. She took the tracker off the tin and slapped it inside the box. "Walk, then run," she said. She set the box on the back of the pickup and told Jessie, "Idle, slow, go to Mrs. Dunn's pasture. Make it take the long way." Jessie slid behind the wheel. He rolled at a grandma crawl down the alley, mailbox rattling like a drum. The cold light followed the box 2 houses, then 3, then paused. Rook's jammer van turned the corner at the far end, fighting mud. He hadn't run far. He was patient. He loved proof. He sniffed for it like a hound. Sierra's eyes snapped to the van. She smiled, a small, mean smile that looked strange on a kind face. "He wants a hello," she said. "We give him all of them." She touched the breaker again and hummed. Every foil, every tin, every wet gutter and loose wire in 3 backyards said hello at once. The van's sensors went blind with love. It stopped, stupid and happy. The cold light corrected. It chose the mailbox again. It dropped a second spear. Jessie saw the white line fall. He floored it. The mailbox flew off the truck bed with the clean rattle of cheap screws letting go and bounced into the ditch. The spear hit mud, not metal. It hissed and died like a mean match in a wet sink. Hale let out a breath he had not taken. "Good," he said, which meant thank God in sheriff. Mara put her hands on the kitchen counter. The house shook, then stood. Water ran off the roof. The wind chimes sang wild and honest. She felt her mother's old prayer in her mouth and did not say it. Sierra leaned on the doorframe. "He is confused," she said of the light. "He will call a larger mouth." "Larger?" Jessie asked, climbing back out, soaked, shaking, grinning and scared. "A drop ship," Hale said. He had heard this word in a room years ago and prayed he would never have to say it to a boy. Sierra nodded. "Cold," she said. "Silent, it does not blink. It collects, not kills." Mara looked at her porch, at the spoons, at the photos on the wall, at the wet garden, at the truck, at Jessie. She looked down the street toward the diner water tower and saw a black shape still and stubborn against rain. A dragon holding a town's drink with a spear in his wing. "We do not let it collect," she said. "We make it choose wrong." "How?" Hale asked, not doubt, only plan. Mara's eyes found the storm cellar door on the side yard. The wood was old. The steps were narrow. Under the steps, a crawl space that held paint cans, winter curtains, and a rusting generator that still knew its name. "We go down," she said, not to hide. "To change the roof." She grabbed the generator cord and pulled. Sierra put both hands on the metal and sang The dropship hung above the street like a black nail. Its cold mouth opened. A thin, bright cage unfolded and reached for the porch. Sierra did not run. Her fingers curled tight. Her eyes were silver and afraid and steady. Sheriff Hale stepped into the rain, bolt cutter in one hand. "Over me," he said. Jesse lifted the rattling mailbox like a shield. The tracker inside ticked fast. A cheap heart. Under the steps, the generator growled warm. Heat rose through the wood like a small fire under a table. From far away, through rain and thunder and the hiss of a wounded town, Vardis raised his ruined head on the water tower and shouted one word, "Home!" It shook the windows. It shook the men. It shook the dropship enough to make it blink. The bright cage hesitated, then reached again. Mara did not waste the breath Vardis bought. She spoke quick and clean. "Sierra, make the cage hear the heat under the steps." "Make it love that voice." Sierra nodded. She put both hands on the porch rail and sang one thin line into wet wood and old screws. The sound slid into the cellar and wrapped the generator like a scarf. The cage tilted, hungry for warm, and dove at the cellar mouth. Not the girl. "Now," Hale said. He swung the bolt cutter. The hanging wire curtain of tins snapped free. Foil and rain and wind fell as a silver wave across the yard. The bright cage hit the wave and sparked. It kept going, fast, greedy, precise, straight into the open cellar. Mara kicked the cellar door. It slammed. She dropped the iron bar through the brackets. Hale shoved a shovel across the top. Jesse threw his weight on it like a boy on a seesaw. The wood groaned. The latch screamed. The door held. Inside, the trapped cage sang a high, ugly song. It wanted to open. It wanted to climb. It found heat and tried to hug it. The generator loved being useful. It did not love a bright metal hug. It coughed, then screamed, then threw a hot white spark into the wet earth. Electricity ran into every foil strip and tin and wire line in the yard. The dropship's mouth flinched. Sierra's voice cut, thin but sharp. "Ground it," she gasped. "Give the storm a road." Hale understood. He jammed the bolt cutter's jaws into the soil by the door, metal to metal, and planted his boots on the handles like anchors. The yard became a ground. The cage's light ran down and away like a bad thought leaving a room. The dropship adjusted. It did not think in words. It measured again. The mouth began to open wider for a second cage. Rook's jammer van rolled from the alley and stopped with respectful space, as if a clerk should not crowd a judge. Rook stepped out, wet suit, eyes darker than rain. He lifted a small flasher, a clean beacon, and held it at his chest. The beacon meant identification in a language the cold ship liked. "Collect," he said to the sky. Calm as a signature. "Target. The girl." Mara moved between Sierra and the mouth. She did not shout. She did not beg. She held a wrench like a promise. Jesse stood at her hip, white-faced, mailbox still in his hands. The cheap heart inside went tick-tick-tick, fast and foolish. Sierra looked at the mailbox, then at the mouth, then at the vent over the stove breathing rain and onions into the night. A plan rose in her like a small sun. "Jesse," she whispered, "give me the box." He did, without question. Sierra pressed the mailbox to the vent hood until the metal hummed the vent's note. The tracker sang to the cold light with a bigger voice now, a smooth one, a kitchen one. The mouth tilted to the vent. "Good," Mara breathed. The mouth began to drop a second cage toward the vent. From the tower, Vardis saw the angle. He saw the street. He saw the rain. He tasted blood and rust and something like iron hope. "Hold," he told himself. He took one step, just one. The spear in his wing grinded through plate with a cry like a train brake. He did not fall. He did not fly. He walked the way mountains walk in old stories, slow, sure, loud in the bones more than in the ears. "Dragon moving," Rook said. He did not sound afraid. He sounded interested, like a scientist who has timed how long courage lasts. Deputies shouted. Some raised rifles, then lowered them, because the sight made their hands choose respect. Sierra shut her eyes. She whispered to the bolts inside Vardas's shoulder, to the weld that Mara had stitched, to the seam that was not ready. "One more," she told them. "One." The dropship's mouth opened wider. The second cage unfolded like a white flower, perfect and cruel. It aimed for the vent that hummed the mailbox's fake heart. Hale's radio popped. "Units at tower," a deputy said tight. "The dragon is, sir, he's coming off the ladder." "Let him," Hale said, not taking his eyes off the porch. Mara took Sierra's hand. "When it falls," she said, "we run into it." Sierra stared at her. "Into?" "Under it," Mara said. "We give it a roof." Before anyone could call it crazy or brave or both, thunder punched the street. Vardas stepped from behind the water tower, a black wall in the rain. He did not run. He did not roar. He arrived. The second cage fell. Mara pulled Sierra forward. Hale moved to cover their back. Jesse dove at the breaker and slapped it off so the vent went quiet at the last tick. The cage looked for a voice and found a body. Vardas dropped his wounded wing over the porch like a gate. The cage hit wing, not girl. Light crawled through scales and turned to steam. The spear lodged and hummed. Vardas's eyes went dark and bright and dark again. He did not move. Rain hit the wing and ran off in silver rivers. The porch glowed. The house shook. The yard filled with the smell of wet iron and hot fear. Rook lifted his beacon higher to call a third cage. Sierra stepped out from under the wing and finally raised her own voice. Not into wires, into air. She sang wrong on purpose, a crooked lullaby, a bent rhythm, a storm lie. It said, "Your numbers are sleepy, your cage already closed, your work already done." The dropship listened because even cold machines like the shape of a lullaby. Its mouth paused. Its light dimmed a breath. Hale did not waste a breath. He walked through rain to Rook like a man walking into a bar to break up a dumb fight. He put one hand on Rook's wrist and the other on the beacon and closed the small light with steady fingers. "Hands," Hale said, flat. Rook looked into Hale's face and saw no room to bargain. He did not lift the beacon again. He lifted both hands. His men looked at him, looked at Hale, looked at the dragon wing over two humans, and decided they liked tomorrow better than today. They dropped rifles. Behind them, county cruisers blocked the street. Deputies took positions. No one fired. No one ran. Rain chose their hat brims and stayed there. The dropship hovered. It did not get angry. It did not get sad. It ran a new line in the air, cold, thin, final. Up on the tower, the hunter, small, high, bored, flicked once like a blink. A symbol crawled across Rook's cuff, bright even through rain. Bounty. Frozen. Rook smiled a little, wet and tired and mean. "Another day," he said. "Not here," Hale answered. The dropship made a sound like a door closing in a house no one lives in. It lifted. It slid into cloud. The rain covered the hole it left like a tongue hiding a missing tooth. Silence came. Then the soft noises of a town remembering it has breath. A dog shaking water. A spoon wind chime finding simple time. A boy putting down a mailbox and laughing once because he still could. Vardas swayed. Mara reached up and braced his jaw with both hands. "Lay down," she said. He folded slow as grace. His wing still pinned the porch roof. Spear light went out at last, a star dying 2 feet above their heads. Steam drifted and then forgot to be steam. Sierra put her forehead to his scale. "Thank you," she whispered. Roof. He breathed out like a mountain that had finished holding up the sky. "Home," he said again, softer. Hale clicked cuffs on Rook's wrists. They were not gentle. They were not cruel. They were correct. "Charge?" a deputy asked. Hale didn't look away from Mara's porch. "Arson," he said. "Assault. Interference. Fraud." He paused. "And littering. That ladder was a mess." A few men laughed because they needed to. Rook did not fight. He watched the porch with a collector's eyes and memorized a picture he would hate properly later. "It won't hold," he said to nobody. "It will," Mara said. "Because we hold. They move slow then." People came with blankets and soup and wrong advice and real hands. Hale posted 2 cars. The rain eased. The storm walked away to bother another county that did not deserve it. By morning, the water tower still stood. The wing came off the porch with care. The spear slid out with a scream and a breath and a lot of prayers people said inside their teeth. Sierra slept sitting up with her head on Jesse's shoulder. Mara welded in a clean dawn light. She was not neat. She was strong. The Blue Star Diner opened late and full. Coffee steamed. A hand-painted sign sat in the window in Jesse's block letters. Roof, given here. People read it and smiled like a bruise they were proud of. The doctor from the clinic came in, hair wet, eyes kind. She saw Vardes through the back door, curled like a burned tractor behind the barn, breathing, alive. She nodded once like a bill paid. Sheriff Hale sat at the counter with his hat beside his cup. The notch in the brim looked like a small moon. He touched it and did not fix it. Some things you keep. Sierra woke to the smell of onions and toast and rain on hot asphalt. She found her name again. She found Mara and Jesse and Vardes again. She sat up straight and smiled a little. Mara put a plate in front of her. "Eat," she said. "Then we fix the rest." The radio on the shelf clicked. A weak voice bled through static. "Collapse. 16 trapped. Air thin. Any help? A mining camp 2 days out. No pirates in the words. Only fear and time." Sierra's eyes met Mara's. Jesse's eyes met both. Vardes lifted his head outside, slow, listening. Mara looked at the road through the rain-streaked glass. She felt the weight in her legs. She felt the weight in her hands. She felt the promise she had made without paperwork. "A home is a promise," she said. "Ours reaches that far today." Hale pushed his cup away and stood. "I'll clear lanes," he said. Vardes dragged himself to his feet with a curse that sounded like a hymn. "I will be the roof," he said. "Again." Sierra touched the jukebox and made it play a slow drum, the kind that keeps hands steady. She looked at the map and drew a straight line with her finger. Jesse ran to the door and flipped the sign to open. Then he flipped it back to closed and laughed because he could. "We'll be back," he wrote under roof, given here in smaller words. Mara wiped her hands on a towel and took the keys. The town watched her go with the kind of respect that does not clap. They stepped into the daylight. The storm had left the sky clean and bright. The road ran dark and honest to a new trouble. Vardes lowered his body like a low, wide roof. Sierra climbed up careful as a cat. Jesse hopped in the truck bed with rope and a smile. Mara slid behind the wheel and patted the dash. "Easy," she told the engine. Another day. The engine answered with a working heart. They rolled. Far above them, where cold lights write rules. A small message blinked awake where only Sierra could hear if she ever looked up again. She did not look up. She looked at the road. She kept the beat. And the story did what good stories do. It kept going. A home is a promise, and promises keep the lights on.